Really started being in my body and being present I think this maybe almost a year now, but it's gotten progressively stronger and stronger and stronger. Initially it was very subtle, but now listening to you and having gone through some of your YouTube videos as well, and doing all these meditation classes that I do has helped me to get into my body. But there feels like there's a slight variation in what you do and what I've been practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd like to, actually have an experience or have you take me through an experience.
Sure.
To understand that.
Yeah. Can you tell me what there's no right and wrong, but can you tell me what method do you use, or what thought or no thought you use to get into the body?
It's the breath. So I allow my breath to take me in, mm-hmm. and get connected with the energy of the earth, with the energy of the universe, bring it into my heart, in my heart space. And then from there, I allow that energy to move in and out. And, initially there were thoughts, but I would be like the observer, just allowing them to pass. Now, when I get into that state, there's very little thought. It's just with my breath. I'm just in my breath, and sometimes I get visions. Sometimes I hear something, hear a voice telling me something. And then once I come out of it, I usually journal and write whatever has come through. And then as I'm writing more, sometimes more comes through. So that's been my practice. But initially as well, when I was getting into the silent state, I was asking questions. And when I heard Leonard actually in one of his YouTube videos saying, don't ask questions, just be present to what is and be with that, be with the I am, and just no questions. So that's something that I thought, okay, well, I'd like to try that.
Right. Yeah. Well, perhaps as we look at each other, you can simply be aware of your hands without looking at them. Feel it, but rather than feel it, be aware of the vitality in your hands. Although your eyes is open and you're looking at me, but you're aware that your hand exists.
Mm-hmm.
And do not underestimate the power of simplicity.
Yeah.
The mind would love it to be a lot more complex, but it isn't. So while you're looking at me, be aware of your foot. Just be aware of it. You can smile at it if you want. Be aware of it. It's a feeling, it's an awareness. It's just be aware that it's there. Some people go into thanking it for its function, but it's not necessary. The less mind, the better. The more thoughts, the more mind. So we're using not more instructions, but less. Less is always better because we're going through the so-called eye of the needle. We're going through that veil, that whatever you call it. Even what I said now, it's too much, but sometimes it's okay. So keep being aware of your hand, and then be aware Be aware of the empty space behind your eyes. There is an empty space. So you're looking at me and you're aware of the empty space. You can switch into be aware of your hand, and you can switch into being aware of your foot. The sequence of body parts don't matter at all. The accumulation of the body parts don't matter. And be aware of your thigh and your butt touching the chair. Be aware of it touching the chair. Absolutely no expectation. Something happens, happens. If not, not. No expectation. The mind has a difficult time to do no expectation because it's expecting something, even if the mind agrees that okay, I'm not going to have any expectation. You still have expectation. So any expectation that shows up, just feel your hand. It's being aware of your hand while you're looking at me is 1,000% more important than anything that I'm saying. Anything that I'm saying really is to keep the mind docile and busy. The mind has been neglected for a long time, and the mind has been taken out of its foundation and put out to dry, meaning that in order for the mind to operate properly, it needs to find its foundation. And as soon as the mind finds its foundation, it starts to function properly. It starts to slow down and say, instead of running on its own, it starts saying, okay, goddess, what would you like me to do? But it's not used to it. It's a wonderful, loving space to be. This is not a meditation. I'm trying to stay away from it, not because I'm against it. Anything that even mildly implies time is working against you. If I say meditation, and God knows I've done many, lots. I know every kind of meditation. I can. My favorite one was the Merkaba meditation.
Yeah.
Mind, wonderful. Spin it. Oh boy, it feels good.
Yeah.
And the mind loves those things because they are in time. So when we do meditation, we do it in the morning and in the afternoon, or sometimes I used to get up 3 o'clock in the morning. Keep feeling your butt on the chair. When we do meditation, it's in time. And you can't get there with accumulating time-related events. The mind loves it because it's time-related. It still is in control and is still doing what it's used to do, which is accumulating information. And one day we're going to get there in the future. We don't even know what that there is, but we're going to get there. So just keep feeling your butt in the chair. And so we're not against the mind. We're simply having it calm down and take its rightful place. Let it take its rightful place in this loving space. This loving space is not in the mind. It's beyond duality. We can call it non-duality, but again, that word has been perverted already. Most words that we use have been perverted. So we can use whatever word we want. It's not important. Again, what I say is just a by the way. Keep being aware of your hands and just look into my eyes. This is constant. This space is constant. This is the only constant thing there is. It's always there for you and me. It's not a result of a meditation. It's a result of simply being aware as to who you are, and the how to be aware who you are is not a major mystical process. The mind, again, who has been governing us, is used to major mystical processes and future events, and thinking that for such a big mystical space of enlightenment, I have to do a big something where something big will happen, and then the bells will ring and it's going to say, Sylvia, Sylvia, oh my God. What I'm trying to indicate is that the simple feeling of your hand touching your body within, being aware of within, you go instantly present. You can only go there instantly because there's no time. That event is totally undervalued. Undervalued by whom? Undervalued by the mind, who can only value cumulative things. The mind values someone who accumulated 10 years of meditative experience, has spent time in India and got all kinds of stuff and degrees from Tibetan Lama, and has accomplished X, Y, and Z and spent 20 years in the mountains of meditating. Ooh, that's valuable. Why? It's it's got measurable value that it can identify with.
Mm-hmm.
And the poor guy, the mind, they didn't give it all the faculties, so a half-wit something is trying to govern us. It doesn't really want to do that. By relaxing and valuing such a simple thing as I feel my hand and I'm looking at it. It's a very simple action that I'm asking the mind to do. Instead of focusing out, I'm saying, please be aware that there's within. Oh, okay. And please be aware that there is a within. Inner body, okay, inner body. Call it what you want. A very simple adjustment. Very, very simple adjustment. When the mind lines up behind the body, we're home. It's not fashionable to use the body as something positive. Most of the belief systems include, I'm not the body, I'm not the body, I'm the body mind consciousness as such is thrown out. The body is always seem to be used in a negative context. How stupid we are. I mean, and the body is such an amazing thing that's the thing that we have, that my mind couldn't run my body for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it that so hard to believe that by getting in touch with it, it's got the innate intelligence that I need to use? Like Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within.
Right.
We don't seem to try to go within unless we try 100 different ways to go elsewhere and it fails. And finally, the universe beats the hell out of us. God, universe, you have a nose problem. I had depression problem. Other people have digestive problem, bone problem. So the body is this amazing sensing instrument that is a smaller fractal of the universe. By lining up behind it with my mind, I am now one. It's a constant. It's not a meditative experience in the mind. It doesn't come as a result of a cumulative experience in the mind. Just keep feeling the chair. It's not an exciting space. It's not somewhere where you're going to have visions necessarily. It's not a space that's exciting. It's not a space that you can go and talk to your girlfriend and say, oh my God, guess what I saw? This is this very simple being space, is the beginning of it all. It's not the end of it. To wake up is not the end of something. I mean, you can call it the end of suffering, sure. Suffering, feeling is there, but the suffering will stop immediately. And events, positive and negative ones, still come into our life, which we can use as a catalyst to embrace. And when we embrace it, that presence, this wonderful beingness gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Once that's practiced enough, the being has grown, roots within us. The being has been uncovered enough that we can consider it that it has roots. It's a consistent, it's a constant. So now we're facing the world and we're accessing the power that we're entitled to. It's our birthright. Once that happens, and you practice long enough to be in no time, it's a joke, but there's no other way to say it. If in this being space, if you practice long enough, meaning, if you practice it long enough in your everyday life meaning that if you have to send the kids to school, that's when you practice it. If you have to cook, that's when you practice it. It's not a separate, allocated time when you meditate. When you're washing dishes, you practice this. You attempt to feel your hand, you attempt to feel your foot. Unless it is used in everyday life, whatever life brings you, it's not going to work. Life, universe, is the only one that knows what sort of seminar you need at this moment. We can't figure it out. Practiced every day, reasonably quickly, especially in your case, would grow roots in you. When I mean grow roots, you know what I mean.
Yep.
You can just go there because you just focus inside. Bang, it's instant.
Mm-hmm.
Then what's possible? Now there's a beginning of new life. Now you can live by declaration. The words have power. You are comfortable in not figuring things out. Not understanding something is not a problem. If you have a problem, a situation, you're able to be with it without forcing your mind to act on it prematurely. Being with the problem is an amazing thing. Doing nothing, just be with it. Embrace it. And let the universe figure it out. Let the universe give me intelligent information that is way beyond the capacity of my mind, which can only sense what my senses can sense, which is nonsense. We must learn to value this simplicity, even though the mind would like to complicate it more and add to it. Once we value the simplicity, we can move forward. We can start practicing it, and the only thing that will make it deeper is the everyday use.
Mm.
By everyday use, I mean now, and now, and now. So when you're riding the bicycle, that will be a now. So, okay, I'm riding my bicycle. Okay, I feel my hand. Okay, look at that. I can do that. So only life and the life stream would know what you need at this moment, not a therapist.
Yeah.
Occasionally, a therapist is a great if you're so mumble jumbled up that you need help occasionally. If the therapist could be present with you, that could be of help. But the universe is the only one that knows what specific issue, what specific shadow do you need to show up to embrace.
Yeah.
And you don't need to understand it. You don't need to know why you're crying, why you're laughing, why the pain is there. Just be. That process, quote unquote, will get you results quick. And when I'm saying results quick, I'm using vocabulary that's, say, business-like, but that's not quite what I mean.
Yeah.
Very efficiently. I mean, what are we after? We are after, say, waking up. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
How do we know?
Yeah.
How do we know? I was just, okay, I'm awake. Yeah, I'm awake. No. Being awake does not mean that you know a million concepts about it. Being
Right.
awake means you know when you're awake. Right now, in this moment, we are awakened beings. It's a constant. When the mind slows down and stops, we're comfortable thinking about it's not fighting with itself. The Ramana Maharshi is the only one that talked about this. How do we know we are making progress in the spiritual path?
Mm.
You might have heard it. He says the lack of unwanted thoughts are the measurement to know that you are on the right track.
Yeah.
You are on the right track. So your mind, my mind, is not fighting anything right now. We're comfortable just being together.
Mm-hmm.
There is no mysterious effects. When you live life like this, there could be mystery, there could be color, there could be all kinds of things after. You will be observing it as a awakened being. The awakened being does not prevent you from having mysterious, colorful experiences. But if you have it before awakening, then the mind takes over and gets credit for it, and which is used now as an obstacle to prevent you from getting it. It's a long sentence, but understanding it again is not as important as just being, which is be aware of your hands. Now this much I usually tell people in a very long seminar, but it takes a very long seminar to really get the simplicity and the immediate practice, the now, that I cannot be there when your next now is coming.
Yeah.
You have to be aware, and it's worthwhile doing, it's worthwhile practicing. It's a functional space. It will be easy for you. Simple, better. Less words, better. Less understanding, better. By better, I mean more value, more value. If we continued in this space, you and me, we could go so deep that we could go to this nirvana space.
Yeah. It's happening already.
Yeah. And so what the good news is about that nirvana space that everyone talks about is very real,
Mm.
but it's not necessarily the functional space of what you gotta do today. The mastery is when you go on today and do what you need to do, and you are master of it by being. And if we're just sitting around next to a fireplace, all of us friends, we can just be, and we can go to this nirvana, and the more of us there is, the deeper it is, and it's better than drugs.
Mm. For sure. Well, what I find is happening is as I go deeper, I'm fading. I don't
Yes.
see my side of the screen. I just see you more present, more vivid. And the computer is fading. My room
Yes.
is fading.
Yes.
So, but I'm very aware of my body in this conversation with you.
Yes.
So everything out, and I can also see your aura really more brighter as I get deeper and deeper into the space.